Dear students, in the earlier class we have discussed about the chemical reactions involving cleavage of OH bond and that leads to the acidity of alcohols. In the present class we shall discuss about the reactions involving cleavage of CO bond. It can be seen in four types of reaction. The first one is reaction of alcohols with hydrogen halides. Here halide may be the iodide or bromide or chloride ion, but not the fluoride ion because it is most electronegative and it is volatile during the chemical reactions. Okay, and we can also see the cleavage of CO bond in reaction of alcohols with phosphorus halides. Here N is the covalency of phosphorus. Sometimes it may be 3 or 5. Okay. And we can also see the cleavage of CO bond in a dehydration of alcohols, oxidation of alcohols. Firstly, we shall consider the reaction of alcohols with hydrogen halides. Okay. For this, we shall take the general reaction equation. Okay. The general reaction equation is this. Okay. ROH, it is the alcohol. Okay. When it is treated with HX, here the nucleophilic substitution reaction takes place like this. Means here we are discussing about the cleavage of CO bond. That C is from the alkyl group. This CO bond breaks. Similarly, the bond between hydrogen and halogen breaks. So now the substitution of OH with the X takes place. So you will get RX plus this OH minus combines with this H plus and gives the H2O as the byproduct. Here RX is nothing but called haloalkanes. About this you have studied in the haloalkanes and haloarenes chapter. Okay. The RX is nothing but haloalkane. Okay. It is a nucleophilic substitution reaction because this is a delta minus no and this is a delta minus no. So these two are replaced or interchanged. Okay, that is why it is called as nucleophilic substitution. Okay. Yes, in these reactions, when you consider the order of reactivity of HX. See, we have types of HX, that is HI, HBr and HCl. Okay, here which one will readily undergo this substitution reaction? HI. Hydrogen iodide readily undergo the substitution reaction because the bond between H and I is a weak bond. We can say it has low bond dissociation enthalpy. That is why it immediately undergo the substitution reactions. Okay. And next is HBr. Okay. And next is HCl. Here the replacement of iodide ion takes place readily than the bromide ion and than the ClN. As you know, the chlorine is electronegative element when compared to these two and whose bond is having a strength. That is why the breakage of bond between H and Cl is little difficult. That is why that Cl not immediately undergo change with the OH group. Okay. But while this HI, where I can easily come out and replace this OH minus. So this is the order of reactivity of hydrogen halides. Means when you take the HI here, it immediately undergo reaction with this and gives the iodoalkanes. Okay. Yes. Similarly, we have types of alcohols that you know as primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. Okay. We shall take order of reactivity of alcohols. Here, which type of alcohol readily undergo this substitution reaction? The one which is having the steric hindrance, okay, that will undergo the substitution reaction readily. Where we can see the more steric hindrance, electronic repulsions in the tertiary alcohols. That is, tertiary alcohol readily undergo, followed by secondary, followed by primary. Okay. When we have only the tertiary, secondary, primary, this is the order. Okay. When we have allylic alcohols, benzylic alcohol, then what is the order? We can also consider this order. Allylic, first allylic alcohols readily undergo, followed by benzylic alcohols, okay, followed by tertiary alcohols, secondary alcohols and primary alcohols. Okay, this is the order. Okay, this is about the order of reactivity of HX and alcohols. Okay, let's say the interchange of these halogen with the OH group. We have a test, called it as Lucas test. Called it as Lucas test. It is also called as Gruss process. It is also called as Gruss process. Okay. What is the importance of this Lucas test? What is the importance of this Lucas test? It is a distinguishing test for alcohols. It is a distinguishing test for alcohol. Let's see how. Okay. And what is the reagent used in the Lucas test? We use Lucas reagent. We use Lucas reagent. What is that? What is that Lucas reagent? It is nothing but the mixture of anhydrous zinc chloride. Anhydrous zinc chloride plus concentrated HCl plus concentrated HCl. This is the reagent we are going to use in the test. And this reagent is called as a Lucas reagent. Okay. Then we shall consider a simple reaction like this. ROH plus HCl in the presence of the catalyst, that is anhydrous zinc chloride. Okay. So what happens? The replacement of this OH with Cl takes place. You will get RCl plus H2O. RCl plus H2O. Here, this is the alcohol. Okay. This is the chloroalkane. This is the chloroalkane. Okay. Yes. Here we shall see the distinguishing test. Okay. Let's take 4 columns. First column is test. Okay. Second column is observation. Second column is observation. And the third column is inference. Inference. And the fourth one is mechanism in which the reaction takes place. Mechanism by which the reaction takes place. Okay. Test column means for all the 3 alcohols is same. Test, in the test column, take the Lucas reagent. Lucas reagent plus add the alcohol. Add the alcohol. Okay. Now, what is the observation? If the observation is turbidity appears immediately. Turbidity appears immediately. Turbidity appears immediately. Appears immediately. Then what is the inference? The inference is tertiary alcohols. Presence of tertiary alcohols. Presence of tertiary alcohol. As I already told you, in the order of reactivity of alcohols, tertiary alcohols readily undergo the reaction. Okay. So, when alcohols undergo reaction with HCl, it produces a chloroalkane. Okay. And these chloroalkanes are immiscible in water. Are immiscible in water means not soluble. Okay. Then it produces a turbidity. That is our observation. Okay, it produces turbidity. Okay, when turbidity appears immediately, initially there was no turbidity, means you have this left hand part. After mixing, you are getting turbidity immediately. It means reaction has been done. Okay, reaction has been done. Okay, so which one will readily undergo? as already we discussed, the tertiary alcohols. And which mechanism it takes place through? Okay, it takes place through a formation of stable carbocation, that is SN1, that is SN1 mechanism. This reaction takes place through the SN1 mechanism and it involves the formation of a stable carbocation. Okay, for example, turbidity appears within 5 minutes. Turbidity appears within 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes means it is taking some time, maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes or 4 minutes, but not immediately. Okay, turbidity forms not immediately but within 5 minutes, means it is going to take some time. Okay, that indicates the presence of a secondary alcohol. That indicates the presence of a secondary alcohol. And through which mechanism this conversion takes place? That is from alcohol to haloalkane. It either takes place through SN1 or SN2 mechanism. Okay, there is a chance for this molecule, that is secondary alcohol, to undergo this reaction either by SN1 mechanism or SN2 mechanism. Okay, if turbidity not formed at room temperature, okay, turbidity not formed at room temperature, but it forms upon heating, then that indicates the presence of primary alcohol, and it takes place through the SN2 mechanism. Okay, let's see that we are going to take the Lucas reagent and we are adding the primary alcohol. So no immediate reaction, it takes place upon heating only. Okay, so we can write here no turbidity at room temperature, no turbidity at room temperature, or turbidity produced on heating, or turbidity produced on heating. Okay, this indicates the presence of primary alcohol. And it takes place through the SN2 mechanism. About the SN1 and SN2 mechanism, you have studied in the previous chapter, that is haloalkanes and haloarenes. As you know that SN1 mechanism takes place in 2 steps and it is first order reaction. And SN2 mechanism takes place in 1 step and it is second order reaction. Okay. Yes, so here we are discussing about the reaction of alcohols with hydrogen halides. Out of the hydrogen halides, HI is most reactive. Okay, and out of the alcohols, the allylic are readily undergoing this substitution, followed by benzylic, followed by tertiary, secondary and primary. In the Lucas test, we are just talking about these 3 types of alcohols. Okay, not about the allylic or benzylic. So what is Lucas test? It is a distinguishing test for these 3 types of alcohols. And what is the reagent used? Lucas reagent. What is that reagent? It is a mixture of anhydrous zinc chloride plus concentrated HCl. Okay. Yes, this is the observation, inference and mechanism in which the reactions takes place. Okay. Now we shall discuss about the reaction of alcohols with phosphorus halides, and I already told you that where N is equal to 3 or 5, these are the covalency of phosphorus. Let's take a general reaction equation. Okay, let's take ROH. This is an alcohol, and treat this molecule with phosphorus trihalide. You can take PCl3, no problem. Okay, yes, and this phosphorus trichloride consumes 3 moles of alcohol. and undergo a substitution reaction, okay, and it forms 3RCl. Again you are getting the chloroalkane here. What is this? The chloroalkane plus. What is the byproduct? You have 3 OH groups and 1 P. You can take this as POH 3 times. And it is also nothing but H3PO3. It is also nothing but H3PO3. It is called as phosphorus acid. It is called as phosphorus acid. Phosphoric acid is different. Phosphoric acid means H3PO4, and here it is a phosphorus acid. Okay. Yes. When you take the phosphorus pentachloride, then what is the reaction with the alcohol? For example, you are taking the alcohol ROH. Okay. Here PC alpine reacts with 1 mole of the alcohol. And let's see what are the products. Undoubtedly, it will form RCl, that is a chloroalkane, plus it will form HCl. Okay. Then what is the byproduct? Again, what are left elements? Phosphorus, oxygen and 3 Cls. So you will get a POCl3 as the byproduct. POCl3 as the byproduct, and it is called as phosphorus oxychloride. Just observe the differences between the reaction of alcohols with PCl3 and PCl5. When you use PCl3, 3 moles of alcohols gets reacted, okay, and phosphorus acid is the byproduct. Okay, when you use the PCl5 with the alcohol, it consumes 1 mole of alcohol and gives HCl and phosphorus oxychloride as the byproduct, and products are same, that is chloroalkanes. And here we have very important method that is called as Darjan's method. Okay, it is not included in the NCERT chapter, okay, under this topic, okay, but it may be there in the haloalkanes and haloarenes chapter. Now situation has arisen, so I am telling about the Darjan's method. Okay, what is Darjan's method? It is the reaction of the alcohols with thionyl chloride. That is, when you take the alcohol and subject it for thionyl chloride, in the presence of a base pyridine, okay, what happens? You will get a chloroalkane RCl, okay, and HCl, okay, plus you will get the sulfur dioxide as the byproduct. Okay, SO2 you are getting, one is HCl and another one is RCl. Okay, and it is a best method to convert the alcohols into chloroalkanes. Okay, because the byproducts are gases. No need to purify further. Okay, obtained and left product is only the chloroalkane, and other byproducts are gases. That is why this is the important method to convert alcohols into chloroalkanes. Okay. Now we shall discuss about the dehydration of alcohols. Okay. Dehydration means the removal of H2O from the alcohol. Okay. Here also we can see the cleavage of CO bond. Let us consider a simple reaction equation. Okay. Let's take ethanol, CH3, CH2, OH. Okay. CH3, CH2, OH. When it is treated with a concentrated acid, for example H2SO4 at high temperature, that is 443 Kelvin, what happens? This OH minus comes out, and from this H plus ion comes out. From this H plus ion comes out, and from this OH minus ion comes out. Okay. And here you can see the elimination of H plus and OH minus that results in H2O. That results in H2O. And keep in mind that during the elimination reaction, carbon-carbon single bond will become double bond. Okay. So when you take out one H, how many hydrogens left? 2. It is a CH2, and a single bond becomes a double bond, so double bond. And how many H2 are there? Same, CH2, because it is undisturbed. Okay, CH2. Now, what is this molecule? An alkene. Particularly, it is called a ethene. It is ethene. Okay. And what is this? This is the ethanol molecule. This is the ethanol molecule. Means when alcohols are treated with the sulfuric acid and at 443 Kelvin gives the alkene. Okay. And you can see the byproduct water. This reaction is called as dehydration of alcohols. Okay. The dehydration of alcohols can be done by using H2SO4, okay, H3PO4, or anhydrous zinc chloride, and anhydrous alumina, okay. When you use this, you can see the dehydration of alcohols. Okay. Yes, let's see the mechanism of this dehydration of ethanol. Let's see the mechanism. Yes, here it is a very important topic. It follows through 3 steps. Okay. Step 1 is formation of protonated alcohol. Step 1 is formation of protonated alcohol. See, we have alcohol, that is CH3, CH2OH, like this, and the oxygen always contains the lone pair of electrons. Okay. This is what? Ethanol. Okay. When you add the acid onto this, acid is represented with the H plus ion. Okay. It is a fast step. The attack of H plus ion onto the alcohol is a fast step. Okay. And it forms a protonated alcohol. How? The lone pair of electrons on the oxygen will take up this H plus ion. Okay. Due to the loss of lone pair of electrons on oxygen, it gains the positive charge like this. Okay. It has got the positive charge. Why that positive charge? Because the oxygen has lost lone pair of electrons. Okay. Now this is called as protonated alcohol. Okay. Means alcohol with a extra proton. Proton means H plus ion. Okay. And what is step 2? It is a formation of carbocation. Okay. Why there is a formation of carbocation? Because the protonated alcohol is unstable. That is why it results in the formation of carbocation like this. Formation of carbocation. Here the loss of lone pair of electrons by the oxygen will try to take this bonding electrons. A bond is nothing but 2 electrons. Okay. Now the oxygen is gaining back the lone pair of electrons. by breakage of this bond. Okay, here already we have one lone pair of electrons. Now this bonding electron become lone pair of electrons. Okay, now H2O comes out. Okay, and here due to the loss of the bonding electron, this carbon will become with positive charge. That is, it is called as a ethyl carbocation. This is called as a ethyl carbocation. See, it is a slow step. It is a slow step and rate determining step. It is a rate determining step. Keep in mind that always the rate of a reaction is dependent on the slow step. Is dependent on the slow step. Okay. Then what is the step 3? It is the deprotonation step. Okay. What is deprotonation? DED stands for the removal here. Protonation, removal of proton. Removal of proton. Deprotonation. Okay. This CH3 CH2 plus, that is ethyl carbocation, is a intermediate unstable molecule. It collapses into the ethene. Okay, with the removal of H plus ion. From this, one H plus ion comes out. You can see that OH minus ion has come from this as in the form of H2O, and from this now H plus ion is coming out. So I already told you that during elimination a single bond will be converted into the double bond. I can show you this as CH2H. This H plus ion comes out and these bonding electrons make a bond here. Okay, so in this way you can see the CH2 double bond CH2 plus H plus ion. Okay, so what is this? This is ethene. Now when you observe this mechanism, H plus ion here, it is acting as a catalyst, means we can call this as acid catalyzed dehydration. We can call this as acid catalyzed dehydration. Okay. In the previous discussions, we have seen the acid catalyzed hydration of alkene to alcohol, but this is acid catalyzed dehydration of alcohol to alkene. Okay, and here this is a elimination reaction. This is a elimination reaction. You can see the elimination of H2O. Elimination of H2O. Okay. Yes. Here H plus is acting as a catalyst. So what is a catalyst? Catalyst is a chemical substance which increases the rate of a reaction and it is not consumed in the reaction. See, you have H plus ion is entering here and coming out as it is. It is not consumed in the reaction mechanism. What is the role of this catalyst? It just increases the speed of a reaction, but it is not consumed. Here it is entering and here it is exited. Okay. Now we shall discuss about the interesting facts about dehydration of alcohols. Let's take a note on this. Okay. Here we shall see dehydration of different types of alcohols. Dehydration of types of alcohols. Okay, types of alcohols. Here majorly we are going to discuss about dehydration of primary alcohols, secondary alcohols and tertiary alcohols. Let's consider a dehydration of primary alcohol. Okay, that is take CH3 CH2OH. This is a primary alcohol. This is a primary alcohol, and we have seen how it is undergoing the dehydration reaction with the H2SO4 at 443 Kelvin. Okay, and it results in ethene. Okay, that is an alkene, and byproduct is H2O. Okay, alkene we got, that is ethene. That is ethene. And let's say the dehydration of a secondary alcohol. For example, propan 2-OL. Propan 2-OL. This is what? Propan 2-OL and secondary alcohol. and secondary alcohol. And why it is called as a secondary alcohol? I have already told you in the earlier class. The functional group containing carbon is this. This is linked to two other carbons. Therefore, it is secondary carbon and secondary alcohol. Okay. For this, it no need to take the H2SO4. It is a strong acid. Just a weak acid is enough to remove water from this propan 2OL molecule. What is that? The 85% H3PO4 is enough. What is this H3PO4? Phosphoric acid. It is a weak acid. Okay. At 440 Kelvin. Okay. And here from this OH minus comes out and from this H plus ion comes out. It results in CH2 double bond CH3. This is called as a propene. This is called as a propene plus H2O plus H2O. Okay. Now come to the tertiary alcohol. We take this molecule, that is tertiary butanol. Okay. Take this tertiary butanol. Okay. You can represent it by T or 3 raise it to 0, means superscript 0, tertiary butanol. Okay, means it is a tertiary alcohol. When it is subjected for weak acid, that is H3PO4, and whose concentration is also 20%. This much dilute weak acid is enough to dehydrate this tertiary alcohol and at a low temperature, that is 358 Kelvin. At a 358 Kelvin. Temperature required is also less and strength of acid is also very dilute and weak acid. Okay. Why it is happening like this? Because of steric hindrance present on this carbon. Okay. There are three groups, no? Bulky groups are present. Steric repulsions are more. That is why it tried to see that there is a removal of H2O from this molecule like this. Okay. OH minus ion come from this, H plus ion come from this. One hydrogen comes. Okay. Remaining two will be there. During a elimination reaction, there is a formation of double bond here. Okay. So we can see that CH3, CH3 and double bond CH2. Okay, this is called as isobutene. This is called as isobutene. Okay, and plus H2O. So what you are thinking of that? The order of dehydration of alcohols. Order of dehydration of alcohol. Which one is readily undergoing? The tertiary butanol is readily undergoing the dehydration reaction with a weak dilute acid at a low temperature. Means it is readily undergoing. Next one is the secondary alcohol. The next one is primary alcohol. So when you write the order of acidity of alcohols, write the order of when you write the order of dehydration of alcohols, write the order of, we can take order or ease of dehydration of alcohols. Okay, order or ease of dehydration of alcohol. Dehydration of alcohols, it follows this order. Tertiary alcohols readily undergo dehydration, followed by secondary, followed by primary. Okay, this is all about the dehydration of alcohols. Now we shall discuss about the fourth type of reactions which involves the cleavage of CO bond. Okay, that is oxidation of alcohols. That is oxidation of alcohols. Oxidation of alcohols. Okay, here we have to again discuss about the oxidation of primary alcohols, secondary alcohols and tertiary alcohols. Let us discuss about the oxidation of primary alcohols. Oxidation of primary alcohols. Okay, yes, let's see that. Let's consider the oxidation of primary alcohol with KMnO4, acidified KMnO4. KMnO4 is a strong oxidizing agent. For example, you have a primary alcohol. You have a primary alcohol. Okay. When it is treated with acidified KMnO4, KMnO4 is a strong oxidizing agent. So what happens? It first oxidizes the alcohol to the aldehyde. What is the first oxidized product of the alcohol? The aldehyde. Okay. And due to this strength of the oxidizing agent, there is further oxidation of the aldehyde to the carboxylic acid. Overall, when you use the KMnO4 to oxidize the primary alcohol, you will get a carboxylic acid. Okay. But to prepare the aldehydes from these primary alcohols, you need to use some other oxidizing agents such as anhydrous chromium trioxide. For example, you are using this anhydrous chromium trioxide. This CrO3 is a oxidizing agent, but not strong as KMnO4. Okay. Yes. What happens? The primary alcohol will be oxidized to the aldehyde. Okay. So when you want aldehydes from primary alcohol, use this anhydrous chromium trioxide. When you want to convert this primary alcohols directly to the carboxylic acids, this is the ultimate oxidized product of a compound. Okay, then you can use the acidified KMnO4. Okay, and let's see the another important one, that is when you have the allylic alcohols, for example CH3, CH double bond, CH, CH2, OH. What is this? The OH containing carbon is sp3. Okay, and next to the sp2 containing carbon double bond. So this is called as a allylic alcohol. Okay. So here, due to the C double bond C, this is a unsaturated alcohol. When you want to convert this unsaturated alcohol to unsaturated aldehyde, means you want only this group to be oxidized, and this must not be disturbed. The unsaturation must not be disturbed. In that case, the best suitable reagent is PCC. What is that PCC? Pyridinium chlorochromate. Okay, I will tell you about that later. Okay, yes, this is the best suitable reagent which does not alter the unsaturation in the compound, except it oxidizes the alcohol to the aldehyde like this: CH3, CH double bond, CH, CHO. Here we call this as alpha beta. See, this is the functional group containing carbon is this alpha beta, and this is alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde. Okay. So let's talk about the PCC now. What is this PCC? PCC is pyridinium chlorochromate. It is a mixture of CrO3 plus HCl plus pyridine. Okay, and it forms a complex. Like this: pyridine N. Okay, here it is going to take the hydrogen, and it takes the positive charge, because nitrogen is trivalent. Now you can see that it has a 4 bonds, so it is losing the lone pair of electrons, and Cr double bond O. Here there is a one Cl and O minus. Now this is a complex called as pyridinium chlorochromate. How it is formed? It is a mixture of CrO3, HCl and pyridine. Okay. Yes. Now let us consider one more reaction for oxidation of primary alcohols. That is, when you simply pass the primary alcohols, over copper, over heated copper at 573 Kelvin. It is a huge temperature. Okay, it is a 300 degrees Celsius. Okay, yes, at this temperature the primary alcohol is oxidized to the aldehyde with the release of H2 gas. Okay, this type of reactions involving the release of H2 gas are called as dehydrogenation reactions. Hydrogenation means addition of hydrogen, removal of hydrogens. Okay, now we shall consider the oxidation of secondary alcohols. Here we have already seen the oxidation of primary alcohols using 4 oxidizing agents: KMnO4, CrO3, PCC and the copper. Okay, and here let's consider 2 of them. That is, take the secondary alcohol. That is, for example, you may take the propanol. It is a secondary alcohol, and treat this with anhydrous CrO3, anhydrous chromium trioxide. Okay, anhydrous chromium trioxide. What happens? The H comes out, this H comes out, and it gives a ketone. Okay, it gives a ketone with the release of H2, and it is nothing but a dehydrogenation. When you see the removal of H2, that reaction is called as a dehydrogenation. See what you are observing from this discussion: oxidation of primary alcohols gives aldehydes, oxidation of secondary alcohols gives ketones. Okay, and let's take one more. We have RCHOH and R dash. This is the general representation of the secondary alcohol. Here R and R dash may be same or different alkyl groups. When you pass the secondary alcohol over heated copper at 573 Kelvin, you will get RCOR dash. This is a ketone. And here H2 is coming up. Let's talk about the oxidation of tertiary alcohols. Oxidation of tertiary alcohols. Yes, here take the general representation R, C, R dash, R double dash, OH. For example, it is a tertiary alcohol. When it is passed over heated copper at 573 Kelvin, okay, one of the hydrogen from this and OH minus from this, okay, comes out and gives the corresponding alkene. Okay, with the release of H2O, here this oxidation of tertiary alcohols gives the alkenes but not any oxidized products, because it is associated with the dehydration. Why the dehydration reaction is taking place in this tertiary alcohol? Because it is a bulky molecule. Here, rather than oxidation, dehydration reaction predominates. For example, when you consider this CH3OH, this is the tertiary butanol. When it is passed over copper at 573 Kelvin, you get tertiary or isobutene. you get isobutene with the release of H2O, with the release of H2O. Okay, and if you use the KMnO4 to oxidize these compounds, let's see that. Okay, let's see that using KMnO4 over this, using KMnO4 over this. When tertiary alcohols are subjected for KMnO4, this is a strong oxidizing agent. Okay, what happens here? It will be converted into the carboxylic acids, but not to the corresponding carboxylic acid. All these bonds break, okay, and give a simple carboxylic acids. And these all alkyl groups will be oxidized to the small carboxylic acid units. Therefore, you will get a mixture of some mixture of some simple carboxylic acids, some simple carboxylic acids. Okay, carboxylic acid. There will be no definite corresponding carboxylic acid. All these bonds gets break and will give you mixture of some simple carboxylic acids. Okay, this is all about the reactions involving cleavage of CO bonds. Okay, where we have discussed about the reactions in reaction of alcohols with hydrogen halides, phosphorus halides, dehydration and oxidation of alcohol. Hence, this completes the chemical properties of alcohols. In the next chapter, we shall discuss about some commercially important alcohols.